What happened in Japan in the year 2002? Imagine a single year in Japan packed with epic new video games that changed how we play forever. Mind-blowing anime that still gets fans talking today. Hilarious manga that made everyone laugh out loud. Blockbuster trading card games, chart-topping music, huge sports moments, wild tech breakthroughs, and even a surprise animal superstar that stole the whole country's heart. 2002 was a landmark year for video games in Japan, marked by major franchise launches and hardware transitions. PlayStation 2 owners got titles such as Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy XI, Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, Virtua Fighter 4, and many more. The Nintendo GameCube got Super Mario Sunshine, The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, Resident Evil, Resident Evil 0, and Mario Party 4. Nintendo's portable strategy paid off massively. Game Boy Advance got Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, the top-selling Japanese release of the year. Fire Emblem, The Binding Blade, Mega Man Zero, Castlevania, Harmony of Distance, and Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland rounded out the lineup. Xbox had a string of new titles with Steel Battalion, Jet Set Radio Future, Panzer Dragoon Orta, and Ikaruga. There are just too many to name here, so what's missing from the list? Tell me in the comments below. It was a defining year for anime, giving birth to iconic franchises, groundbreaking sci-fi thrillers, and genre-defining classics. Few series have shaped global anime pop culture as profoundly as Naruto. The anime based on Masashi Kishimoto's manga of the same name premiered in October on TV Tokyo. Ghost in the Shell standalone complex following Motoko Kusanagi and Section 9 as they track down the mysterious Laughing Man. It remains a benchmark for political intrigue, philosophy, and sci-fi world building. Before Azumanga Daioh, the slice-of-life 4-panel format wasn't a dominant TV trope. This series revolutionized the genre with its absurd humor, quirky cast, and slice-of-life rhythm. It paved the way for future hits like Lucky Star and K-On! Designed to introduce a new generation to the Gundam universe, Gundam Seed became a massive commercial phenomenon in Japan. Created by Yoshitoshi Abe, Haibane Renmei was widely regarded as an artistic masterpiece of moody, introspective storytelling. And Studio Ghibli also released their beloved movie, The Cat Returns. Moving on to manga, Ice Shield 21 follows a timid kid who's bullied until he gets recruited to play for the school's football team. It was instrumental in popularizing American football in Japan. Oran High School Host Club follows a pragmatic student who's forced to join the school's host club to pay for an expensive vase that he accidentally broke. It remains one of the most beloved romantic comedies in the medium. Skip Beat tells the story of Kyoko Mogami. She's a hardworking girl who moves to Tokyo to support her childhood friend, only to discover that he was just using her as a maid. Fueled by spite, she breaks into show business herself to outshine him. Known for its intense violence and psychological depth, Elfen Lied revolves around a mutated human species. The manga explored dark themes of isolation, prejudice, and humanity, leaving a lasting mark on pop culture. A masterclass in romantic misunderstandings and slapstick humor, School Rumble centers on a high schooler hopelessly in love with her eccentric classmate. Packed with chaotic energy, absurd situations, and a large ensemble cast, it was one of the premier comedy manga of the decade. 2002 was a peak year for trading card games, driven by the massive popularity of established franchises and the launch of new ones. Key Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG releases include Pharaonic Guardian, The New Ruler, Advent of Union, and structured decks like Pegasus. Pokemon TGC got Wind from the Sea, Split Earth, Mysterious Mountains, and EX Ruby and Sapphire. This was the start of the EX era. Duel Masters launched in Japan in May. It quickly became a massive hit backed by an anime that premiered in October. It was designed as a more accessible alternative to Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And remains one of Japan's top trading card games today. Magic the Gathering Japanese releases included Torment, Judgment, and Onslaught, which created a dedicated following in Japan. Digimon TCG saw continued Digibattle and related series releases throughout the year, tying into the anime. It was a strong performer in the kids and collectible space alongside Pokemon. The J-pop charts were dominated by solo female artists like Ayumi Hamasaki and Hikaru Utada, who topped sales charts and had massive cultural influence. The rest of the soundtrack was dominated by Glay, with singles like Way of Difference. The veteran rock-pop group Mr. Children, or Miss Chiru, pumped out consistent hits. Mika Nakashima saw strong album sales. Misia was an R&B powerhouse with high earnings, and rounding out the charts, Bees was still in the mix. Groups like Morning Musume and its subunits like Minimoni, Kinky Kids, and SMAP remained popular. However, their sales didn't quite reach the numbers that Ayumi Hamasaki and Hikaru Utada enjoyed. And in sports, Japan and Korea jointly hosted the FIFA World Cup. It was the first World Cup held in Asia and first jointly hosted by two nations. The final was held at International Stadium Yokohama, which is now Nissan Stadium, where Brazil defeated Germany 2-0 to win their fifth title. Japan took home 1 silver and 1 bronze medal from the Winter Olympics, which was held in Salt Lake City. Hiroyasu Shimizu won silver in the men's 500-meter speed skating, and Tae Satoya won bronze in the women's moguls. And of course, some famous people were born in 2002. Hiyori Sakurada was born on December 19th. This popular actress is known for roles in dramas and films like Our Secret Diary. Kaya Kiyohara, who debuted as a teen, was born on January 30th. She's an actress, model, and singer who has appeared in various TV dramas, films, and modeling campaigns throughout her career. Haga Akane was born on March 7th. She's a J-pop singer and former member of the iconic idol group Morning Musume. Kato Reina was born on January 25th. She's a member of the group Sakura Cinderella. Skateboarder Sakura Yosozumi, gymnast Kitazono Takeru, and goalkeeper Zion Suzuki were also born in 2002. Moving on to technology, high-speed mobile internet exploded into consumer culture. Long before FaceTime and Zoom, Docomo launched FOMA Video Clip and mass-marketed 3G handsets. These phones enabled video streaming and real-time video calling on flip phones. KDDI and JPhone expanded their photo messaging services, turning mobile photography into a daily social phenomenon, way ahead of Western markets. In 2002, Japan turned on what was, at the time, the undisputed fastest computer on the planet. The NEC Earth Simulator was built for the Japanese government. This vector supercomputer reached an unprecedented speed of 35.86 teraflops. I don't know what that means, but it sounds really fast. It held the title of world's fastest supercomputer from 2002 until 2004. And what was it used for? Climate modeling, tectonic simulation, and global atmospheric research. Launched in 2001, the Suica was gaining traction. 2002 marked the massive rollout of contactless payment infrastructure across Tokyo's transit networks, vending machines, and convenience stores. This set the stage for what we now know as mobile wallet technology. Japan remains stuck in mild yet persistent deflation. Consumer prices continue to drop. The national unemployment rate reached an all-time high of 5.5%. Heavy corporate restructuring and workforce cuts affected manufacturing and retail. The exchange rate was 125.2 yen to the dollar, and the GDP was $4.25 trillion. While Japan was still trying to figure out what to do with all those bad loans, the bank mergers continued. In April, Daiichi Kangyo Bank, Fuji Bank, and the Industrial Bank of Japan fully integrated operations to launch Mizuho Bank and Mizuho Corporate Bank, creating one of the world's largest financial groups at the time. Japan Airlines and Japan Air System integrated in October to form Japan Airlines System Corp. The newly created mega carrier controlled roughly 50% of Japan's domestic market. And remember how Snow Brand famously fumbled a tainted milk product scandal in 2000? They somehow found a way to make it worse. In 2002, Snow Brand Food Company admitted to mislabeling 13.8 tons of Australian beef as domestic. So they did this to take advantage of a government buyback program. And that was happening during a mad cow disease outbreak. To cap it all off, Snow Brand Milk Products was exposed for falsifying expiration dates on its butter. There was severe customer backlash. The company was forced to liquidate and let go of almost 1,000 employees. The Japanese government implemented major revisions to the commercial code. This allowed Japanese corporations to adopt an American-style corporate governance structure, which included independent board committees for the first time. This accelerated corporate spin-offs and foreign investment into Japanese companies. Junichiro Koizumi continued as prime minister, but the year was marked with slow progress on economic reforms, the ongoing economic slump, and party infighting. In January, he famously fired Japan's first female foreign minister, Makiko Tanaka, amid a public feud. Some saw this as him taking sides with the old guard. Although he'd been enjoying an approval rating up to 85%, he had dropped 30 points by spring. The standout moment was Koizumi's historic summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. This was the first time a Japanese prime minister had visited North Korea. The two met in Pyongyang in September. The trip was largely successful, and one item on the agenda was the abduction of Japanese citizens in the 70s and 80s. Surprisingly, Kim Jong-il acknowledged what had been the stuff of urban legends for decades, that North Korea had indeed abducted several Japanese citizens. Now, by this time, some of them had already passed away, but 5 survivors were allowed to return to Japan. The two signed the Pyongyang Declaration to normalize relations, and everything seemed to be going just fine. That was until the world learned about North Korea's ongoing nuclear program, which just complicated the situation. The Japan-US relationship was exceptionally strong and cooperative, characterized by a close personal friendship between George W. Bush and Prime Minister Koizumi. They met multiple times throughout the year, including a visit by Bush to Japan in February. Although progress was made in the area of defense cooperation and intelligence sharing, friction remained over American tariffs on Japanese steel and U.S. military bases in Okinawa. But the main focus was on regional safety, mainly because of rising concerns over North Korea and a more assertive China. As far as natural disasters, it was a relatively quiet year in Japan. Typhoon Chatan slammed into the Pacific coast in early July, inundating about 10,000 homes. Typhoon Higos caused over 260 billion yen in damages. That was about $2 billion at the time. Seismic activity took a break for the most part, but Miyakijima remained uninhabitable. The volcano, which erupted in 2000, was still spewing toxic fumes. Of course, we need to end on a happy note, so have you ever heard of Tama-chan? Tama-chan was the Arctic seal that somehow found his way up the Tama River. That's thousands of miles off course. But the nation fell in love instantly. Tama-chan became a national celebrity. TV crews broadcast daily live updates of his activities. Crowds gathered on bridges with binoculars and cameras, hoping to catch a glimpse. Tama-chan merchandise hit the shelves, and fan clubs formed. Yokohama's Nishi Ward officially granted him honorary residency status. He eventually swam off into the Arakawa River in 2004, but his brief reign as Tokyo's favorite resident remains one of the most delightful and bizarre media frenzies of the era. So there you have it, the year 2002. Games, anime, manga, and trading cards. Phones that set pictures and let you do video calls. The year was full of fun, creativity, and big moments that helped shape modern Japan. It showed us how games, anime, music, and sports, and even animals can bring us together. What are your favorite memories of 2002? Let me know in the comments below. And coming up next, we've got the year 2003. Japan adopts broadband, the post office goes private, and there's a merger that reshaped gaming history. See you there.